Today, Friday, August 30th, we are helping you to navigate the settlement once again. As we proceed to give you what you need, we're going to keep talking about it as long as we feel that you need it when you're getting some value. So NAR released some new consumer guides for buyer, for seller, and for people visiting your open house, I believe are the three. We're going to dive a little bit deeper today into those three guides, also give you access to them on our AI chatbot, make it easy for you, as well as the settlement communication kit that we discussed a few live streams ago. So if you have questions or things that you might be hearing out there in these real estate streets, please put them in the chat, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, watching this on the playback, on LinkedIn, YouTube, it doesn't matter. Just put them in the comments. We will address them. We might even do another live stream about them if you want to know the truth. That's where we get our ideas. There's questions that we receive more than once, frequently asked questions. Okay, let me just go to the comments over here, make sure I have access to this. All right, good morning. Good morning, Sweezy. Good morning, everybody else that's out there. Let us know where you're watching from. And hey, what's one question that you've got from a consumer in the last 3 weeks? Buyer, seller, or somebody at a neighborhood picnic. I would love to hear all of it because we want to help you to communicate more effectively with confidence so that they say, oh, I want to work with that agent because they're able to help us. Okay, first thing, you're going to go to jmanabot.com. You see that right up there. jmanabot.com will give you access to our AI chatbot. All the resources that we'll be discussing today will be loaded in there for you, free of charge. All right, if you get any value with today's live stream, please do share it with all of your friends, even your enemies, people that you may not like that much. That's okay too, because we all want everybody to do better and help communicate more effectively with their clients. Okay, so let's start out with, are you receiving updates in regards to the NAR settlement? You should if you are a Realtor member, but I understand we don't all read our emails all the time. I'm guilty of it as well. But when I see things to say, hey, new consumer guide. Okay, so here's first, we're just going to go through this quickly. Today might be a quick live stream. We'll be done by 9:30. Boom. First one, consumer guide, Realtors Duty to put clients' interests above their own. I don't want to start there. I'm going to start here. Consumer guide to written buyer agreements. I think this could be a great guide for your, clients have questions, but if we're talking about the disc profile, your high Cs, they want more information, want to understand it more. They're not really going to sign something immediately. They need time to digest it. They need more information. They have questions. Maybe you don't know all the answers to, or don't know how to answer them to their satisfaction or in a way that really helps to add value to the conversation. So I'm going to share my screen here. And if you're watching this on Instagram, you only see my little face over here. And this is, make this a little bit bigger, I guess, so you can all see it because it is small. Yeah, we'll make it like that big. Okay. So why am I being asked to sign a written buyer agreement? And this is great because so far, the stories I've heard is that there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of agents that are saying the wrong things, saying that it's a law. Now, if it's a law or going to be a law in your state, maybe that applies. But the majority of the states, it is not a law, okay? And it's not required that the buyer sign something to go look at houses. It's required the agent has something signed with a buyer that they want to tour homes with. See the difference? The agent has to get it signed. The buyer, you cannot compel a buyer to sign anything. They could still go to an open house. They could still call the agent and say, show it to me directly. Okay, so it's not a requirement. If it's not a law in your state, don't say it. But it goes into greater detail. What is a written buyer agreement? What does it do? And it's benefit from the consumer standpoint. Written buyer agreement is a agreement between you and your real estate professional outlining the services. Why am I being asked to sign this? Well, it's part of the NAR proposed settlement of a litigation related to broker commissions. Requirement went into effect on August 17th. Are these agreements new? In some places, yes. I love that response, right? Many states have required them for years. Well, some have not. As a result, it is entirely possible you or others have not used them in the recent past, right? Because they go, I never had to sign this before. That's overcoming that area of concern. Are these agreements negotiable? Yes. You should feel empowered to negotiate any aspect of the agreement with your real estate professional, such as the services you want to receive, the length of the agreement, and the compensation. Now, as far as I know, there is not a required length of agreement except for California. I think it's 90 days. But I love to bring this up because then it allows us to have a conversation, right? And if somebody says, well, I'm not sure if I want to be committed to just you. Okay. Could you, and this is all depends on you and your business, right? Could you commit to me just for homes in this subdivision? If you're representing new construction, or, if you're in Florida, you're in a gated community that you represent, or could you be exclusive to me for just this county? Or could you be exclusive to me, and I'm going to go time frame, for just today? The properties that I show you today, I did this with an investor the other day, and I know he works with multiple agents in different areas. And I said, okay, well, for this property, if you do decide to buy it when I show it to you or a time frame after, my compensation is still due. He was like, okay, that's fair. Okay, could you have multiple non-exclusive agreements if you were an investor? Yes, but it's important that you discuss all of their options and then go into the value why you are the better choice, why you should be their exclusive agent all through the county and all through the land. What else? What's the next part here? How do I benefit, right? What's the benefit for them, the consumer? These agreements clearly lay out what services your real estate professional to provide and what your real estate professional will be paid. Makes it clear and transparent. When do I need to sign it? Before touring a home. Now, touring a home is in person, or if you're doing a video walkthrough. I recently had an investor from New York City. They were buying in Rochester, New York. We did everything via Zoom. Still had to be done, okay? Even though I never met them face to face. Does this mean I have to pay my real estate agent out of pocket? Great question. They may not ask you this. They may just ghost you because they feel uncomfortable or they feel that they don't have the need or the means to pay you. And they kind of awkward conversation, like, I can't afford it, but I like you. And then they ghost you. So you are responsible for your real estate professionals outlined by your agreement. You can still request, negotiate for, and receive compensation for your real estate professional from the seller or their agent. So yes, you are responsible. However, you can still request, negotiate for, and receive compensation for your real estate professional. Do agreements dictate a specific type of relationship I need to have with my real estate professional? No, you're allowed to enter in any type of business relationship with your real estate professional, allowed by state law. Allowed by state law. Allowed by state law. Okay? Can I change or exit? Yes. When you mutually agree to change your agreement. I think this is the best guide they've put out yet. It answers a lot of the frequently asked questions or areas of concern with a potential buyer you may be working with. Okay? Now, if you go to my chatbot, jmanbot.com, and you just put consumer guide is what you're gonna put in there. You're gonna get all three of these. Okay? Consumer guide is the keyword. It's gonna give you all three of these guides in one folder. Also give you our communication settlement kit. Also give you the website for NAR for additional resources, and when they post additional resources, where they will be. Can I change or exit an agreement? Yes, you and your can mutually agree. I already said that. All right, next one. We got someone on Instagram said, so what percent do you charge here? Bring this up. Thank you so much, Karen, for this question. Now, you're going to get this. Hey, what's the standard rate? What do you all charge to be a buyer's agent? I'm like, I can't answer for everyone. I know it's somewhere between 0 and 100%. However, my compensation is X. That would be my response. Okay? And they go, whoa, that's a lot. That's a little, depending on how they feel. Well, I understand exactly how you feel. Many of our happy buyers that we've worked with exclusively felt the same way in the beginning. However, what they found out was that by working with the Monero team, here's all the value that we provide. And then you go into your value proposition. Okay, what makes you better than the next buyer's agent? Maybe you have your ABR designation. If you don't, you should. Or your CBR designation. Or there's a lot of other buyer certifications out there. I know almost every CE company has released one. Calibri has one, I think, CE Shop and others. But the more you learn, the better you're going to be. Okay. Second guide, which I really like as well. Consumer Guide to Open House Written Agreements. And this is just updated yesterday, 8/29/24. Bringing you the latest information, my friends. Okay. Let me see what kind of music, what kind of sound effects do I have going?
Awesome!
Yeah, it is. Okay. I'm attending an open house without an agent. Do I need a written buyer agreement in order to tour the home? No! This is the biggest mistake I have heard about with agents. Jeffrey Scott Stanton, who you know we live stream with him all the time. He recently attended an open house where the agent said, hey, everybody that comes in has to sign an exclusive buyer agreement. And he was like, what? Yeah, before you tour this home, I have to have you sign this. And here's how I get paid. Surprise! That agent was incorrect. Okay, so that's why we are compelled to educate the masses so that you could spread the word. Okay, and is an agent who's hosting an open house required to enter into written agreements with the potential buyers who attend the open house? No. And actually, I'm going to make this bigger again so we can see this better. Okay. No. And if you're watching this on Instagram, I understand that you may not see all of it because you're just going to see the middle third. You can join us on Facebook.com/JManSpeaks. Okay. No, in this case, since the agent's only there at the direction of the listing broker or seller, the agent is not required to have a written agreement with the buyer touring the home. Now, my first question might be, hey, do you have an agent that you're working with exclusively? No, not yet. We're just looking. Okay. Then I allow them to tour the home. Just to let you know, I'm working as a seller's agent. But as they walk around, they have questions. I'd love to talk to you about what it means to have an exclusive buyer's agent represent you. Now's not the time, but I'd love to set up, you got a busy open house. I'm not going to be doing a buyer presentation there, a buyer rep presentation. But you have an opportunity. Okay, and you may want to discuss, this is not here, but you may have somebody come to you as an unrepresented buyer. And hopefully if you're the listing agent, not just the agent hosting the open house, you've discussed that with the seller, because that could be somebody coming to the open house and go, I want to write an offer. Okay, do you have an agent you're working with exclusively? No, I want to represent myself. Okay, no problem. You want to have an attorney write it up, and then go through, just, in this instance, I'm working with the seller as a seller's agent. I'm going to work with you as a customer, not a client, not even a dual agent. Will I be asked to sign an agreement with an agent after you've been working with? I would say working. Well, yeah, they're working with an agent. We work for our clients. We work with customers. An agent at any point before you tour your first house together. What does working with an agent mean? A buyer working with an agent provides services such as identifying potential properties and arranging tours before you look at the first house. I think, if somebody says, hey, sign me up on the client gateway for your MLS or for Matrix or whatever you're using, I don't know if that's substantial enough, but I think that's the time to have the conversation, because they're probably getting that from a bunch of different agents. It's time to lock them down exclusively. Okay, what does it mean to tour a home? It means entering a home to see it, whether virtually or in person. What is the purpose of the written buyer agreement? Clarity and transparency. Where can I learn more about buyer agreements? And that was the last agreement that I just showed you. So it'll link back to the other agreement. Please visit facts.realtor for more information and resources. The last one, and this will be quick if you don't have any more questions about what I'm doing here. Okay, hold on. Why did this go so dark? Okay, there we go. If you can still see me on Instagram, say something. See something, say something. Okay. Okay, last one is going to be Realtor's duty to put clients' interests above their own. This is a good one. Make it real big. Okay, a realtor, special kind of real estate agent. I love that first line. Is a special kind of real estate agent, one who follows NAR's strict code of ethics, right? What does it mean for a realtor to act in a buyer's best interest? It means ethical duty to tell a buyer about every home available for sale that meets their criteria. So for those of you that may have heard, oh, I don't have to show it if they're not offering a compensation because that's what my buyer wants. Well, it depends on how you got to tell them it's your ethical duty to show them all properties that are on the market. I could negotiate on your behalf and try to get that compensation built right into the transaction. However, if the seller does not want to do that and you cannot afford to or are willing to, then we're going to have to move on. But at least they saw the property, right? Those of you saying, well, the buyer didn't want to see it because there was no compensation offered. I think you could do a better job at explaining how compensation can work and say, well, I want to show you all the available properties on the market. Don't be afraid to negotiate. That's part of what you do as a great buyer's agent. What does it mean for a realtor to act in the seller's best interest, right? If they didn't have an exclusive buyer's agent, and went directly to the seller. I love that because then they can understand that further. What is wrongful steering? Now, you may have heard, again, it's depending on the compensation, an agent not showing it because they're not compensated could be seen as steering, and an agent who is more motivated to show a property because there's more compensation could also be seen as steering. And you already know that if you have an agreement, maybe you don't know, if you have your compensation outlined in your exclusive buyer's agency agreement, you cannot receive more money without the approval of the buyer, right? If you have X percent and they're offering Y and Y is more than X, then unless the buyer agrees to it, you can't. You could always renegotiate your agreement at that point, but then what's your reasoning for asking for more? And it kind of goes back to the seller's agents also explaining this a little bit better to the seller. It cannot motivate buyer's agents. It can motivate buyers because now this is one of the criteria, right, that they're using to determine what property they want to move forward with or even what properties they want to look at. If they look at 3 properties and one out of those 3 is a question mark as far as how much they're offering, or it's less than the compensation that buyer agreed to with their buyer's agent, then they may be more motivated to go with the other 2. Just like if I had one property that needed a kitchen to be updated and the other 2 had a brand new kitchen, well, I'm looking at the first property as more of an investment, right? More of a cost of acquisition, more closing costs, if you will, because I have to update that kitchen to get it the way that I want. So now in considering all things, right, we have price, terms, conditions, always used to be the 3 things that we negotiated. Well, also now it's a 4th thing, compensation, that goes into consideration when the buyer's selecting the property that they want to make an offer on. What else is in here? Steering. Written agreements protect me from steering. Yes, right? Talks about that. And where can I learn more? Real simple, my friends. That's it. Today was nice and easy. A beepity boppity. Do we have any questions on? Yeah. Hi. Okay. All right, so what you're going to do, let me go back over here. I'm going to go to right here. Again, go to jmanabot.com, jmanabot.com. You get access to the AI chatbot. You're going to put in there consumer guide. That's going to give you access to 3 different guides that were just updated yesterday by NAR. The first one is Guide to Written Buyer Agreements. Let me make sure. Yeah. consumer guide to written buyer agreements. The second is a consumer guide to open houses and written agreements. And then the third is consumer guide to realtors' duty client interest, and how we're looking out for their best interest as a buyer's agent, and how it is in the consumer's best interest to sign with a buyer's agent exclusively. So we'll wait just a minute, see if there's any other questions. And if not, today is a great day for you to take care of your clients, exceed expectations, and provide an exceptional experience. My name's Jeremiah, JMan Monero. Let's see. What do we want to go out to? Anything? What do you got? Okay. See you later on the next episode. I need my lyrics. Here we go.
You had to change the setting of this thing right here. Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
369, interest rates fine. Move in, sing it to me one more time. Get so